Trey comes up with it and rolls it in.
We're going to start with one of his best games as a professional basketball player, the time that Trae Young absolutely lit up the Portland Trailblazers.
It's his fourth year for the 22-year-old. Underneath, Cavaro's got a layup. Runner by Trae. His second basket.
These highlights just further prove how great Young can be if he continues to develop at a high level. The young point guard got everything to fall on his way to a career-high 56 points that afternoon. Now that performance had to have made some Blazer fans mad, but he's become a greater enemy elsewhere, particularly in New York.
Yo, Trae Young looks like my dad!
Trae gets continuously booed and heckled when he either appears in New York or plays the Knicks. Just take a look at some of these moments.
Mr. Trae Young!
Defense broke down, nobody there to help. And
his antics. Like you spit on somebody.
Trae Young says, yeah, we're out here.
It's no wonder why the Knicks fans can't stand him. The guy keeps on sinking them in the biggest moments of their games. I mean, Trae was even enjoying the negative crowd as he looked back and smiled, but I think the hatred goes far deeper than that. There was also the time he hit multiple game-sealing shots against them and got some people so upset that one of them even had the audacity to spit on him while he was preparing to inbound a pass. That's just messed up. Now, okay, he might have his own handful of enemies, but I know for a fact that the Hawks fans love having him on their team. Watch as he lights up the Indiana Pacers in the regular season in front of their own fans.
Arriving back here after the time change at 3:30 in the morning. Trae from the logo. Bang! Hawk lead to 10. Trae keeps it going.
Trae once again looked to be unstoppable, dropping 47 points, and that included 7 3-pointers and 5 assists to go with it. With a dude like Young, you never know what you can do to stop him on any given night. He has so many tricks up his sleeve, and he just keeps reaching deeper into his bag. Indiana did not stand a chance with Trae getting into a rhythm like this. He just so happens to be one of the most dangerous players to go up against when he gets hot. You can add the Knicks to the list of teams that he blew up on the stat sheet. Take a look at some of these highlights from this excellent game.
In control, Young from deep, that's good! To the free throw line when we come back as Young, the villain.
There and able to kind of contort his body for the finish.
Getting booed the entire way, of course, Trae still dropped 45 points in the Big Apple to let the Knicks fans know who was in charge here on this court. It's really not that often that we get to see a young player like Trae step into a hostile Madison Square Garden and do this to the Knicks so consistently. I'm sure the rivalry between Young and the Knicks will keep going on for years. It's pretty crazy, honestly, how many teams Trae has torched in just a few years. The Cleveland Cavaliers are the next ones to fall in the crosshairs. Check out some highlights from this incredibly important performance.
You can't drop a better start if you're...
How about this for a 7-foot defender? Young step back, Allen contested. Young quickly down the other end. 7 on the 24. Trae Young steps back, jumper, got it.
Develop some separation by getting stops on top of scoring.
Oh, beautiful pass.
Atlanta needed a big boost in this game on the road against Cleveland in the play-in tournament. Trae got booed the entire game, and he rose to the occasion once more when his team needed it. He dropped 38 points and added 9 assists to fuel his squad to a win. And honestly, I feel like just going over this game doesn't really give the importance of this game justice. Had Atlanta lost here, their season was over, but Trae wouldn't let that happen. All right, Boston fans, look away. You guys are next up on his radar. Trae played a good 37 minutes for the Hawks in this game against the Celtics, and man, did they need every single second of it. Watch some of the highlights from this game.
Young, he's going to shoot this. Grant Williams will be first off the box with Grant 14. Oh, if he was going to, but he did.
Trae got whatever he wanted whenever he wanted. He pretty much manipulated every single possession for the Hawks throughout the night. He wound up leaving the court with 31 points, including 2 made threes and 6 assists just to top it all off. One thing I know for sure is that his floater package looked stellar here. But that floater is only one major part of his game though. The shooting, the playmaking, the ball handling, Young's just got all of it and then some. Check out the time he returned to the Drew League for the first time since 2019 and gave the crowd something to go wild for. You could just tell right away that he wanted to do something incredible. He was blowing past defenders, taking deep threes, and dishing out some beautiful feeds to his teammates all night long. Now, so far, we also really haven't talked much about Trey's clutch gene. In this game against the Miami Heat in Game 3 of the Eastern Conference playoffs, Trey wins the game off of a floater to keep them from falling behind 3-0 in the series.
10 seconds to go. Atlanta has a timeout. Will they use it? No. Here's Young on the drive. Floater up and good. Atlanta takes a 1-point lead.
Talk about a big shot, not just for a single game, but also for the Hawks' entire season at that point. Not to mention it was against heavy traffic with his team down by 1, and there were only a few seconds left. That's just the danger that Trey provides, though, when he's on the court. I mean, take a look at what he did to the Knicks with just a minute left in the fourth of this game.
But also understanding when they're not confident in get finishes the Knicks here down the stretch.
Here's Young, sizes up Gibson, around him, shoots, and hits.
Taj Gibson had no chance. They desperately needed a stop, but Taj got crossed over so bad he touched the ground. Trey then pulled up to drop down a smooth mid-range jumper to break the hearts of Knicks fans everywhere once again. I certainly wouldn't have wanted to be Gibson after this game when he went on social media. Poor dude probably just saw himself everywhere touching earth. It seems like Trey has channeled his inner Steph Curry on a number of occasions throughout his career. In this play against the Cleveland Cavaliers, he swished a nasty 3 from the logo against them. Watch what he did to the crowd after he got the shot to fall.
At home all season, it's been such a wonderful year. But right now, they're down by 3 with 3:41 remaining. Young, long three-pointer, puts it in!
I think we've all seen that little shimmy before somewhere, right? I think from the sharpshooter himself, Curry. That guy practically invented it. Now we've got Trey doing it on opposing teams' logos. That's just cold. And you know what else is cold? Trey sinking the Knicks in Game 5 of the playoffs to end the game before bowing down to the crowd at MSG.
Of the Knicks season. As Young fires from way downtown and takes a bow.
At this point, the fans hated Trey already. I'm sure the hatred grew even worse when he sank that deep triple and then took a bow and waved goodbye to the fans after eliminating their favorite team from championship contention. Now, it's not always been positive for Trey and the Hawks. Here, they were down by 3 points against the Brooklyn Nets, and Trey gets blocked by the superstar Kevin Durant. Durant goes on to score 2 points the other way to extend the lead with 2 minutes left in the game. Look how these two competitors responded to that sequence.
Takes it over, 2-on-1. Young gets rejected by Durant. Here comes Durant. Pull-up jumper. You bet. What a sequence from Kevin Durant.
You got two guys that love to finish the Come on now.
Durant wanted to go head-to-head with Trey at this point, but the two got tangled up and started to exchange some shoves while going forehead to forehead. Young didn't back down, though, in the slightest, despite being about a foot smaller than KD. That just shows the confidence he's got in himself. And speaking of his confidence, watch this incredible performance against the Phoenix Suns while Mikal Bridges defends him for most of the night.
In the NBA, Phoenix offensive rating of 3. And Trey Young on the take with the left
on Trey Young than Bridges did last night.
Young, long range 3 is in. Wants it right back. Collins obliges. And there he is again. Nice Trey.
Bridges is one of the best defenders in the league, guys, and Chris Paul is one of the best at forcing steals on his opponents. It just didn't matter here, though. Trey was torching them everywhere with a handful of defenders switching around him. He wound up leaving the Hawks arena that night with a win, 43 points, and 6 three-pointers. If you want a perfect example of everything Trey can do, just take a look back at this game's highlights. Remember what we said earlier, not everything has gone smoothly for Trey in the NBA, especially when it comes to some of the veteran players that don't particularly like how he actually seeks out nutmegs. In this instance, Trevor Ariza said, hey, enough was enough.
Started to pour it on here, up by 16. And a foul coming, and now
Ariza got hit with a nasty nutmeg, and then he simply told him to never try that again on the court. He wasted 0 time shoving him straight out of bounds and taking the foul to avoid ending up on the wrong end of a highlight reel, which, unfortunately enough, still had him go right on the highlight reel anyways. I guess it's safe to say we can add Ariza to the list of people who still have it out for Trae Young since he's entered the league.